It's the 13th of October and I'm Tom Glass and welcome to The Roast. Tonight, we take a look at recommendations to change the national curriculum. So I should probably read this 294-page document they released. And I'll read the whole thing during the opening titles, right after I rest my eyes for just 1 minute.
Tom, wake up, it's time to do the show.
What? I haven't read any of the report yet. I don't know anything. Hang on, is this a dream?
No, you're live on national television. Put your pants back on. I warmed them up for you in the microwave, just like you asked.
Oh, thank you. Tonight on The Roast, the curriculum. But first, Mark Humphries has the headlines. Are you sure this isn't a dream? It's a bit hard to tell on this show. I'm pretty sure I died on Friday.
Another video showing an Australian being racist on public transport appeared over the weekend. In the words of someone who just received an entire VHS box set of Dharma and Greg, I f***ing hate these videos. The video allegedly shows a young man racially abusing a security guard on a train after he was asked to take his feet off the seat. We would show you the video, but you know what Australian racism's like. We grew here, you flew here, go back to where you came from, I'm willfully ignorant and driven by fear and hatred, you know, all the hits. The racist tirade occurred in Brisbane, so hopefully there won't be too many foreigners around there anytime soon.
Brisbane ready to host G20 summit.
Ah, crap. Good thing those foreign dignitaries won't be taking public transport. Prime Minister Tony Abbott was in Brisbane and strongly criticised the tirade.
I absolutely deplore it. I think it's un-Australian.
I want to agree with you, Tony, but I've got to tell you, I'm starting to think it is Australian.
Woman's racist rant against Asian woman filmed on
Racist
train
abuse
from
of
Central
Jewish
Coast
children
to
on
Sydney.
school
bus, an isolated and random attack, say
ABC
police.
TV's Jeremy Fernandez racially abused
Woman
on
charged
bus.
over racist bus attack in
Sebastian
Sydney.
racial attack on train.
Now, I know it seems like a lot, but that's only because it is. So much so, it's only a matter of time before this hits the airwaves.
We've got jokes from coast to coast to make you frown. People saying hateful words as they travel around town. You're the dinky-dyed true blue, the racist things you do. Australia, Australia, this is you.
And unlike the reviews for Australia's funniest home videos, the reviews of Australia's racist transport videos are actually quite positive.
People do have a right to be bigots, you know.
Oh, don't worry, George, they know. But unfortunately, until they start introducing special racist carriages on public transport, maybe it's safer to catch a cab.
Blind Aboriginal singer Gurumul refused taxi in Melbourne.
Okay, scrap that, maybe just walk.
Brutal hit and run may have been racist attack.
Okay, maybe you should just remain stationary until the tiny minority of Australians who launch these racist tirades can realise that Australia is a multicultural country, and if they don't like that, they can take some transport back to where they apparently come from, 18th century England. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. Why don't we get any of the good people from the 18th century? You know, Wordsworth, Jonathan Swift, Voltaire. I'd love to see them rant on a bus, it'd be beautiful. But tonight, education. Pink Floyd says we don't need it and they've got a Grammy, so they must be right. The Australian government though, which by the way hasn't won a single Grammy, doesn't agree. So it's released its review into the national curriculum of Australian schools. Now it's 294 pages long and that's not even including the pages left intentionally blank. But really, how hard can fixing Australia's education curriculum be? I mean, don't they just print the answers in the back and... No. Well, the review was conducted by Professor Kenneth Wiltshire and Dr. Kevin Donnelly, so you know they both learned good. Most of the focus, though, was on Donnelly, who knows that all report and no play makes Kevin a dull boy. Not so dull, though, that he doesn't stir up a decent amount of controversy every now and then. He has previously spoken in favour of corporal punishment, warned of teachers having a gay agenda, and criticised a campaign that would teach students about other cultures and religions, such as Islam. So this might have then set the scene for a review that could be pretty divisive.
The response to the review has been somewhat miraculous. There is broad consensus.
Yeah, it really says something about modern Australia when consensus is considered a miracle. But still, it's good to hear. So what was in this report?
Good question, Glasson.
Oh, thank you, voiceover guy.
That's Mr. Voiceover Guy to you, Glasson.
Sorry.
The review also said that schools are not devoting sufficient time to literacy and numeracy in the early years of primary school because the national curriculum is too overcrowded.
Yeah, if we'd had better numeracy skills, perhaps we could have counted how many subjects we were making kids study, and the curriculum wouldn't have become overcrowded in the first place. The report was then scathing about some aspects of the current national curriculum, such as teachers being required to integrate the themes of Aboriginal studies, sustainability, and Australia's engagement with Asia across the curriculum. And I mean, across the curriculum. I can see how that would work for some subjects, but it must have been tricky for others.
Now, Glasson, if we check the periodic table, you'll see that barium sits between polonium and the Chinese-led Asian century.
What? You know what? Who cares? I'm never going to use this stuff in real life anyway. Now, the review also recommended the curriculum properly recognise the impact and significance of Western civilization and Australia's Judeo-Christian heritage, values and beliefs, which, if you listen carefully, is subtle code for nothing. It's pretty obvious what he's saying, actually. But in case you missed it, yeah, we'll be right back.
Have you ever changed the curriculum? Why did you do it? Was it A, to update it for the modern era? B, improve our international competitiveness? Or C, because the old curriculum didn't remind people how great Western civilization is? Marks will be deducted for incorrect answers. We'd love to hear about it at the Roast TV or hashtag RoastTV.
But before you completely disregard the old curriculum, let's remember that there are today many who are sitting their final high school exams. They've worked hard studying and learning over the last 13 years, and it's all come down to this. So to them, I'd just like to say, bad news, kids, you've been studying a defunct curriculum. Everything you've learned is now out of date. You've had the education equivalent of an iPhone 5. You know, it was good, but the latest model's coming out now and it bends. All the same, good luck. Here is a handy guide to help you get through the next couple of weeks.
I'm really nervous about our end of school exams.
Me too. What if I don't get 100% and I can't go to uni? Then I can't get a job. Then I end up living in a bin eating rotten food off the bottom of old tennis shoes before I die in a crack pipe bin fire.
The Roast presents an honest guide for your final school exams, or the last time you will ever use a pen. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but Year 12 is actually the best time of your life. No, I'm just kidding. Exams are f***ing shit and school sucks.
So why do we have to do it?
Well, it's like how we trade rectangles of plastic with an old woman's face on it to get food. It's a stupid system, but it's still the system. And we can't be bothered to think of a better one. Plus, we all had to do it, so yeah.
What if I haven't studied enough?
It's too late now. But by all means, cram tonight if it's going to make you feel better.
Well, everyone says I'll be okay if I just try my best.
Yep, just try your best. Just put in the maximum amount of effort you're physically and mentally capable of. Because at least if you get a bad result, you know it's not because you didn't try, it's because you reached the absolute limit of your human potential. Good luck! Once you're exhausted, confused and stressed inside the exam room, remember that reading time is bullshit. Use it to sneakily write notes when the examiners aren't watching. But remember, your pens will also suffer exam anxiety, so bring at least 500 in case 499 fail. They will all fail. Use your calculator for even the most basic calculations because your brain won't work. And if you're stuck in the English exam, use big words. Here are some examples. And remember, everything is a metaphor for something. Just make it up. No one can prove you wrong.
We did it!
Once the exams end, you'll immediately forget everything you just learnt, which is fine, because according to the news, you'll probably die at schoolies. But if you do survive, you'll always have those terrible memories about school exams that will haunt your dreams forever. It's a great system.
Oh.
That's some great advice. I wish I'd had that when I was a kid. Then I wouldn't have spent Year 12 hyperventilating into a paper bag and completely ruining the lunch that was in there. All in all though, I'm sure if you've studied hard enough, you'll have no problem with these exams. So just relax and try to enjoy them.
Mr. Glasson.
Hang on a second.
Mr. Glasson, wake up!
Oh my God, it was all just a 16-year-long dream. Wait a minute. Pens and pencils, name on the inside of my sock, inner thigh soaked with fear pee. Oh, this is my final year English exam.
Quiet, please.
Sorry. Okay, focus. Explain how Western civilization and Judeo-Christian heritage has influenced modern Australia. 20 marks? Wait a minute, this wasn't in the curriculum.
Pen Pens down.
Oh!